Welcome to another episode of File on the Play. I'm your host, Christy Love, and I have Dan with me. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. You know
That's
why?
what's up. What?
We got our guy.
We
The
got a new
Bears,
coach.
huh?
We got a new coach.
We have a new head coach, y'all. Like, we got the biggest name out there, which is something the Bears don't never do, whether it's a coach or a player. We never get the biggest name that's out there. And the Bears finally did something right to prove and to show the world that we mean business and we're standing on business. Okay. So if we have not heard, which I don't know how you have not heard by now, the Chicago Bears went ahead and got Ben Johnson, who used to be the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator.
Hmm.
I'm just glad the Bears did something right. But before we get into it, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram at I am Christy Love. TikTok is back. You can follow me on TikTok at Christy Love Sports. Where can they find you there?
Of course, at Danikin underscore DG3 on both X and as well as TikTok. Of course, we got spaces that we do right here. And then, of course, here on Foul on the Play with Team NBS Media. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow all of the content that they have and that they put out. Tons of information on the playoffs, the draft, the college football, everything, lifestyle, entertainment, all kinds of stuff. So you got plenty of articles, podcasts, shows, whatever you want to listen to. You got.
I also want to shout out my co-host. If you guys don't follow him, this man has been doing podcast shows. The past week he did like two or three of them.
Yeah, I did a couple. I did a couple. It's been fun, man. It's been a busy week. You
A
put it
busy
that
week,
way.
yes. This man been out here outside,
Yeah.
you know, talking about the Bears, man. No, for real. I'm proud of you, co-host, because you're doing your thing. Okay.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Same thing.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. The Chicago Bears, like I just stated, went ahead and got Ben Johnson, who used to be the Detroit Lions offensive coordinator. Um, a lot of Bears fans pretty much expected this move. Things kind of shifted a bit when Mike McCarthy kind of got into play,
Hmm.
especially with them, interviewing him in person and then taking him out to dinner right after. And
Yeah.
then after that, this whole thing called the Ronnie Rule and whatever that is.
Rooney rule. Rooney rule. Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie Rule.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I haven't heard of that up until this past weekend. Dan, can you please tell the people what is that? Do you know what
Well,
that is?
essentially, they have to interview a certain amount of black candidates, right? So you
Mhm.
have to interview some black coaches, heck, for the position. So that's why, I don't know how many it is now. I think it might be 3 or 4 that you have to interview, or whatever, to kind of have a balanced opinion of black versus white or whatever. So some black coaches were interviewed, Thomas Brown being one, and you know what I mean, several others like
Yeah.
Anthony Weaver and some other guys, and Anthony, I mean not Anthony, but Aaron Glenn. So all of those guys were interviewed as well, and of course the Bears had the wide net that they kept calling it, right? They cast a wide net, so you
Yeah.
had, I think they had what, 20 some odd, 24, 25 total candidates that they interviewed. So pretty cool.
They took a super in-depth look at all everybody out there and just interviewed everybody.
Yeah,
They did. They
yeah.
literally did. Some didn't make sense. Some was like, okay, I guess I can kind of see why you want to interview him. And then it's just like, yeah, he's the guy. So nonetheless, we got our guy. Ben Johnson is the guy, and he has a lot that he needs to work on. Now, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer at all because I'm
Hmm.
so excited the Bears got somebody that loves play calling as much as Ben Johnson do. However, me personally, I have to see what he's really going to do before I can fully 100% jump on board. Now I'm just
Hmm.
being honest because think about it. This is the exact same hype, if not more, that we had last year with Caleb Williams. Granted, when we got Caleb Williams, we already knew we had Flus, who was already in the hot seat coming into this season.
Hmm.
Um, Offensive coordinators, There's a lot that went into it, but despite that, fans still felt, people still felt, and was telling people how Caleb didn't need the offensive line to be great. He didn't need all these big name weapons. People were saying that he didn't need coaching to be great. All this crazy nonsense, and everything backfired. Every single thing backfired that y'all was saying last year. Like all this hype, like, so I say all that to say Ben Johnson is great. His numbers is great. Like look, like he had his worst play calling against the Commanders, whatever. But I just have to see what he can really do before I can really, really be excited. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
It just makes sense. And then if you go back to 2 years when we had our old quarterback and we had just got DJ Moore, you remember all that hype we had in the media as well when we got DJ Moore, how he's supposed to be this great team, and that backfired too. So it's, if you want to be honest, it's like a cycle and repeat still because Ben Johnson hasn't done nothing yet, and people are stalking his airplane to when he freaking lands. Like that, you'll have to be for real.
I mean,
You
this is you got to understand that this is Bears fans, right? This is the fan base that we have. Is there's a lot of knee jerk reactions to everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So, let's just let's run it back 1 week. You know what I mean? 1 week ago, there was a lot of people that was talking about, what the heck is Poles doing? Does he even know what he's doing? He's he's all over the place. He has no clue who he wants as a head coach
right,
and things like that. And it was because he was interviewing so many people and you know basically using up some time, man. I mean, I got to be honest. You look at the situation, and yeah, they did that. I think they did their due diligence. And what I mean by that is they exhausted all of the candidates. They looked at all of them, and
right,
they even gave interviews. What's it gonna hurt to do a Zoom interview? You know what I mean? So I wasn't really I wasn't really a person that was like, oh, they're this. What are they doing? What are they doing? Yeah, some of the candidates are legit. Some of them are not. You
right.
know, but they were narrowing down, I believe, a backup plan. That's what they were doing. And I think from day one, from Jump Street, their number one target was Ben Johnson. And
Mm,
he is the hot commodity. He is the guy that everybody was chasing after this offseason. He was
mhm,
linked to the Raiders, to the Jets, to all these different teams, right? And everybody wanted him because he's been good at what he's doing.
right.
So the Bears were able to pull him. They got the big fish, you might say. And to me, it just spoke when they lose on Sunday and then on Monday, he hadn't even gotten to Chicago yet. It was done. You know what I'm saying? The deal was offered, he accepted, and it was done. So that let me know that he was the number one target, prime target from day one. And I'm with that. I'm with that. They got the guy that they wanted. And I think that's a good thing for Chicago. I'm gonna step back and look at this situation and say we're on the road to the right situation now.
Right.
Because, you know, a lot of people were, oh, I don't trust Poles. I don't trust Kevin Warren. What is it? Why does he want to be involved? What's the McCaskies gonna do? And at the end of the day, they got their guy. I don't know who talked to McCaskey or if they explained, hey, you gotta have to pay this guy. We're gonna have to do this. You're gonna have to do that. Whatever the case was, they figured, okay, we got to try to do something. And I don't think it was placating to the fan base this time. I think it was actually this was the way that it's supposed to be done, and they
Mhm,
finally have done it the way that a franchise should go about looking for a quarter coach, and they end up getting the guy that they wanted, and it was the biggest fish of them all, right? So, like I said weeks ago, remember when I put the video out, like,
mhm.
hey, this is a job that's gonna be coveted. It's gonna be highly coveted. There are gonna be coaches that want this job. I don't care what nobody had to say. And it was like, oh well, the way they fired Eberflus, that's not gonna look good. And I'm like, man, please trust me, people, trust me. We got Caleb, we got money, You know what I'm saying? 80 some million in cap space. You got
Yep.
all your draft picks. You're not coming in with an empty, you know what I mean? Like when Poles first took over, he came in, we didn't have a first or second round pick.
We didn't have
This
nothing.
time, you got picks. You got a quarterback who's young on a rookie deal. You got guys paid up like DJ Moore. You got weapons. I mean, this was a job that people wanted.
Right.
And Kevin Warren even said that weeks ago too. He said, "Hey, this is going to be the most sought after job in my opinion."
He did.
And I think that was the case. I really think that was the case.
I
And
agree.
another thing, with that being the case, with it being a job that people wanted, in my opinion, and I think it's pretty well documented now. You think about these coaches that got interviewed. Some of them may have asked to be interviewed. Let's be real. Like some of them may have reached out to Chicago and said, "Hey, I want to interview for the job. I think I'm qualified." I mean, that's the way you throw your hat into the
Man,
ring. We apply all the time for jobs, right?
we do.
So you know what
That's
I
the right
mean?
thing to do.
It's a possibility. I'm not saying that was the case, but I'm just saying, hey, it's a
Mhm.
possibility that some of these guys around the league, and they may know that, hey, I'm not going to get the job, but if my name's attached to this, now I'm being talked about as that. You see what I'm saying?
That's
And
smart.
so
Yeah.
next year, the year after, maybe they get their opportunity at that time.
I didn't think about it like that. Attaching their name to the Bears just to have their name out there. That is smart.
Yeah,
That's smart.
yeah,
Because like I said, some of these coaching interviews didn't make sense. Like what like come on, Chicago. But
that's true.
that makes sense. Okay, so now we have Ben Johnson. First things first, honestly, he needs to fix the offensive line. As we all know, Caleb Williams got sacked 68 times.
Hmm.
68.
Yep,
That cannot happen going into next season at
yep.
all. We need to fix the offensive line. It's been rumored that he may draft a running back. I know we're kind of early talking about the draft. I
Hmm.
don't think he needs to do that. We still have DeAndre Swift. He's had a 3-year deal last year, so we
Yeah,
still have him, right?
yeah,
Um, we still got Roshan. I will keep Roshan, but so I mean, he could, but that's not like an immediate need, in my
yeah,
opinion. We need defensive line, offensive line. We need an edge rusher. We need linemen.
yeah,
Linemen. That is like the first thing he needs to fix coming into this team.
yeah.
Um, Also, it's gonna happen, and we're gonna see improvement with Caleb Williams next season. I know Ben's gonna get that man right, work on his mechanisms, his footwork, throwing the ball, deep throws, because we all know Ben Johnson and his play calling and the type of play calling he does.
Hmm.
Um, he like trick plays. I think he like play action calls, the whole nine. So he got to get Caleb right first. That's like the first thing you need to do. Fix the offensive line, get Caleb together. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson is a that's definitely going to be the priority. The priority is offensive line. I believe
Yeah,
trying to solidify that in some way, shape, or form, whether that be in free agency, draft, wherever you go, trades even. I mean,
yeah,
everything is on the table. You might say, right? So they're going to address that, and without a doubt, Tevin Jenkins won't be back.
mm,
There'll be you got Braxton Jones, but he's probably like, he's not going to be available, I don't think, at the beginning of the season.
right,
So you're going to have a situation where you legitimately need maybe 4 offensive linemen to come in
yeah,
here at some point, right?
absolutely,
What I mean by that is you need to at least identify 2 that are dogs that can be starters for years to come. And then because you're not going to get all 4 in one off season. That's what I want to tell people. Like, pump the brakes. We're not going to get all 4 in one off season. We're going to get a couple pieces. We're going to get another couple guys that are going to be really good players and probably draft somebody, right? So you're going to have that type of situation. You're not going to come away with 4 starting caliber offensive linemen in one offseason. It's very rare to do. It can be done, but it's very,
mm,
very rare to do. Those commodities are not just that available to you. And then, of course, like you said, the mechanics, getting Caleb to play within structure is
yep,
another thing. And what people don't realize, and I just keep touching on this a little bit. I did it on a couple of the other podcasts that I talked about today or that I went on, And one of the things that I like about Ben Johnson is that he's balanced in his run versus pass. He's not going to be pass heavy. He probably won't be run heavy. He's going to be balanced, right? So when you have a team that's balanced, that's going to help Caleb's development too, right? He'll be able to do play action. He'll be able to lean on that run. Teams will have to play you honest and they don't have to sit back like they did against Justin because we had no running game, right? We had no running game so they could shut down the pass. You know what I mean? Things like that. So it makes the team even more dangerous when you can attack all levels of the football field, run and pass.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
I think that's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to focus on and try to get these guys to buy into playing like that. Caleb has to play within structure though. That's one of his biggest issues, playing within structure and staying on platform, you might say. Sometimes it's cool to go off platform, but I just think he does it far too often, too
Mm-hmm.
frequently.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's able to play within structure, and I'm sure Ben Johnson will help him do that. And Caleb's, I think he's accepting to it because he said he wants to be coached hard. Now that could
Yeah,
be wordplay, you know what I mean, just saying the right thing, but hopefully it's actually really how he feels and how he does.
I think that's how he feels. I don't think
I
he's
hope
just
so.
gonna just say that just to say that.
It
Um,
remains to be seen, though. I hope so. I
that's
hope so
true,
because
but
there's rumblings that somebody in the locker room was not working hard. Now, a lot of people were saying that it was him, that people were saying that was the case about. You know, I don't know, but once again, with
mm,
Chicago media and what goes on in Chicago media, we just don't know because these people lie so doggone much. It
they
pisses
do,
me off
they do.
because we don't know what's true and what's real. We don't know what's real and what's fake because sometimes they just blurt out whatever,
Yep,
and because they don't have to name sources, they could just make up stories. They could fabricate stories
yes, they do.
literally, and they do that. I say 75 to 85% of what you hear as Bears fans, people run with it. They get it and
They
they
do.
boom, they go off. And people are they mad, they angry, they
Yep,
hate the players, blah blah blah. And it's made up stuff. It's
yep.
stuff that has no validity to it at all. So for
Man,
real.
one thing I'm happy that we got our guy because talking about the Chicago media every single day is some fabricated story online about, oh, I have an inside source that Ben Johnson may want to go here
Sears
or
Tower.
Mike McCarthy is about to sign this. Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
how you know? Are
yeah,
you in the room?
yeah,
Are you a fly on the
yeah.
wall? Like, what's going on? So,
Yeah, you was serving dinner. You was serving them dinner, I guess. Maybe mozzarella sticks or something. I don't know.
man, so you're like spot on about this. Chicago media has always been trash. I've been watching Chicago sports since I was 12, and I've been saying since I was in high school, they ask the most dumb, stupid A-word questions ever. I promise you. And that's one reason why I wanted to like start my podcast too, because they ask the most dumbest questions ever.
Well, you
And
got a
then,
lot of people that's going to podcasts now, which is cool.
huh?
You know what I mean? They're listening to more to podcasts
Yeah,
because it's more real. It's more legit. Like,
yeah,
this is what
authentic.
the people are feeling. We don't claim to have inside sources. We're just
I know
talking
I
about the
don't.
Bears. You know what I
I
mean? So
could, but I just don't.
and
Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, and there's some people that I talk to, you know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I keep that to myself and things like that. You
That's
know what I
me.
mean? There's agents and all types of stuff like that. So, we just we do what we do, man. I think it's people just have to siphon through some of the bull crap, the minutia, and
Mm,
get to the real. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. So now Ben Johnson is here. Like I said earlier, he has his work cut out for him because
Hmm.
if you look at the Chicago Bears this past season, offensively, we ranked 32nd in total offense, averaging
Dead last.
280 yards per game.
30 second. You said that's dead last.
Yeah, I know.
So
There's
let's just
32
say
teams
last.
in
We
the
didn't
NFL. We
rank
dead
32. We
bottom,
were
bottom
dead
last.
last.
Dead last. 31st in pass offense, averaging 190 passing yards per game. 30,
Oh,
31st. 28th
terrible.
in rushing, averaging 101.6 rushing yards per game.
Terrible.
Scoring offense, we rank 30th, averaging 18.2 points per game.
Mm.
Look at where Ben Johnson came from. He was in a top 5 offense his whole time in Detroit. Coming to Chicago we were literally at the bottom of the barrel in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. You know, when I know you saw that clip today of Ben Johnson coming to Hallis Hall, giving his speech, how he wanted to be here. And he said he knows the challenges he faced coming here. I really hope he understands what he is getting himself into. Not just offensively, defensively too, management. Like, you know, people still label us as being dysfunctional, a dysfunctional
Mm-hmm.
organization.
Yeah,
With the
which is
stats
appropriate.
I gave, huh?
Well, I said which is appropriate.
Yeah, we're dysfunctional. We have been for the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Nothing changed from the management to coaching to players to even us, the fans. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're still arguing about Justin Fields. I promise y'all they are. And it's like the Steelers are out the playoffs. The Bears have not been on TV since last year,
Mm-hmm.
technically.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why? I'm sorry, I'm kind of off the rails. And I really cannot stand when Bears fans want to put Justin or Caleb into anything football related. Like example, the Commanders, they beat the Lions last weekend. Why do people have to bring up Caleb and Jaden Daniels? Justin and like comparing and want to argue and go back and forth for what? For
Man,
what?
that's what
It's
people do, man.
pointless.
You know, that's what
It's
they do.
I had
You
to get
can't.
that
I
out.
mean, hey,
That
it's funny to me, but you know, this is what we've been dealing with this for years now. It
it's
is what it
funny
is. It'll
at
never
first.
change. I don't think it'll change at all.
It's not. It's just like I need to get a grip. That grinds my gears a little bit. um. So with the Bears offensively, the struggles we have. Are you worried that Ben Johnson may have any type of hiccups coming into the Bears with the offense that we have? Do you think we'll have any?
I mean, that's a good question. But
I know it's
the
early.
way I look at it is, you know, when you say we rank dead last in total offense, right? Dead
Yeah,
last, 32nd,
37.
31st in passing, 27th in rushing. You know, when you have those numbers, you can't get any worse. So what the hiccups gonna do? You know what I mean? You can't get no worse. So if we did have hiccups, we probably wouldn't notice it because we can't get no worse than what we
Oh,
were. I think we can only go up. We are literally starting from the bottom. So, you
yeah,
know,
literally.
yeah,
Um, we
that's it.
can't get we can't
Can't
get
get no
any
worse.
worse. The worst thing is we're just gonna be stuck. You know, we're gonna be stagnant in where we're at right now.
Well, I hope not. I don't think so. You know what I mean? Like one of the
I don't think
things that
so
I
either.
know that's not going to happen going forward into next year, how we started games. Like the Bears constantly. I mean, it was 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, punt, turnover, 3 and out, 3 and out, punt, punt, 3 and out, punt,
Yeah,
punt, and that's all we did in the first half of every single game. It seemed like it was very very difficult to move the ball 5 inches, let alone 10 yards. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I mean, it was really hard. It was really hard. They were going backwards many times and things like that. I think that will be solved, right? And
yeah, for
sometimes, and I tell people this all the time, when you're talking about offense, when you're talking about things like this, sometimes just move the ball a little bit. Even if you don't move the ball and score, just move the ball. Move the ball. Get your offense into a rhythm somewhat, right? And then things will start happening, popping for you. But you have to do that. You have to be able to move the ball at some point. You
absolutely.
cannot consistently go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. It just don't work in football, man. And you give your defense no rest. They get tired out quick,
Yep,
and then the next thing you know, the offense on the other team is running on all cylinders because they're going against a defense that's been on the field the whole time.
yep,
When you're not giving, if you let's say the Bears run the ball one play, right, and then second down is an incomplete throw, third down incompletion, you punt the ball. You ran off maybe how much time did you run off the clock? Hardly none. You know what I'm
hmm,
saying? Like maybe a minute and a half, and you're giving the ball right back to the other team. So I think those things will be cleaned up. I think we'll have better usage of the clock and moving the ball.
yes,
which is going to help the offense in the totality, right? So I'm not saying that the Bears are going to jump up and all of a sudden they're going to be a top 5 offense. It's going to take their time to get there. But
Absolutely.
we won't see this nasty, stagnant, disgusting offense that we've seen the last like 5 years.
Absolutely. I do want to flip to the other side of the ball and talk about defense because
Mm-hmm.
defensively, we were okay.
Yeah, we was all
Some
right.
games look better than others, but especially when Flus left, our defense left right along with him, in my
Took a hit.
opinion. It did, and
Yeah.
it was so sad to see because we heavily relied on our defense to keep us in games and to win us games technically. So it sucked. The Chicago Bears, we struggled defensively. We had a low sack total.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we need another elite edge rusher. Montez wasn't playing up to par at all, and he owned up to it. Run defense, the Bears cannot stop the run on a good day. You know what I'm saying? We
Mm-hmm.
struggle horribly. Like teams can literally like that game against the Colts we had. I believe they ran through our defense so bad because we were supposed to win that game, and they just ran all over us literally. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our and I should have known then. That was like a week 3 game, and we
Mm-hmm.
struggling like that. Like, what's going on? Should have known then we were gonna be butt cheeks. We missed tackles. We had secondary issues. Of course, we had injuries. I feel like if we would have had Jaquan Brisker back, we probably would have been a little bit better. But that whole concussion protocol still don't make sense to me, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's neither here or there. Turnovers. The Bears also had problems getting to get off the field after third downs.
Yeah.
They let our opponents get third downs, and then that means they're on the field longer, and that gives our opponents opportunity to score, and we're playing behind the ball even more. So that's something
Mm-hmm.
that we heavily have to work on. Leadership. That can go for offense and defense. We don't have leadership. We don't have identity. We don't have nothing. So with Ben Johnson coming to the Bears, one, do you think since he is a offensive minded coach, do you think in the near future our identity will be offense? And then two, with Ben Johnson coming to Chicago, how does that change the culture?
How does it change the culture? Well, I mean, I'll answer both of those questions.
Okay.
I think you have to have, as a football team, you have to have an offensive identity. You have to have a defensive identity as well, right? So when you say, is one better than the other? Is that what we're saying? Possibly, I guess, maybe.
Mm,
I think with him coming and kind of taking the reins of the offense, that's great. But I think it seems like from the reports that I've been hearing and I've been seeing is that he's looking to build a staff that's really good, right?
yeah.
A star-studded staff with guys who have some coaching experience and things like that. Like the name that's been linked to the defensive coordinator position is Dennis Allen. I think that's a great hire. That's a really good hire. He's a defensive mind, knows what he's doing. I trust what he's going to do with the
Yeah.
defense. If it's him, I trust what he's going to do with the defense. Straight up. You know what I mean? Um, as a head coach, he wasn't great. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It
That's
didn't
what I
didn't
was.
work out great for him, of course. But as a defensive coordinator, he's it's not many defensive coordinators that can outcoach him or put together better game plans and isolate things that an offense does and try to take those things away. So I think he's good in that regard. I think that'll be a nice hire, and that's Ben Johnson saying, okay, I'm going to get the best guys available to come in here and do things. Another guy that they seem to link his name to it is Hank Fraley, and that's a guy from Detroit. The offensive line coach from Detroit will come over and kind of
Mhm.
be. Of course, Ben will probably be calling plays or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works, but he'll be the offensive coordinator with him, so he'll be like second in command on the offense, right? So that's another good look. That's another good guy. You look at the roster that they had, and how well that team played, and how well that team played on uh, pass rush, and running the ball, run blocking, pass blocking, I should say. They were good. So you know what I mean. When you're able to put guys around you that are really smart individuals and know the game of football, then it
Mhm.
makes you look better. So identity wise, what will the Bears be? I think they're going to be a offense that can score, but they're going to be a balanced offense. Like I said, they're going to run the ball. I believe Ben Johnson wants to run the ball too. It's
Yeah,
not just Caleb throwing for 5,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be a balanced attack. It's going to be, hey, this is what we're doing, and this is how we win football games. And I think that's his mindset, and the team will have to buy into that. And then you have the defensive side. I think we have the players on defense. I think we still need some pieces along that defensive line, and once we get those, then we'll be ready to rock and roll and keep
absolutely.
the guys healthy too. That's the other thing.
Yes, that's the main thing. We gotta stay healthy. Um, so I was looking online and I got 3 edge rushers in free agency that'll be free agents, and 1 out the 3 played for the Bears. You already know who it probably is. I don't think we should bring him back, but that's what I've been seeing online. Khalil Mack.
hmm
Um, Honestly, his time with the Bears, he had that great year in 2018, but I feel like ever since then he kind of like fell off. He didn't play as hard as he used to. And now he with the Chargers and he got a spark on him. I don't think the Bears should bring him back. I think he should just stay where he's at. Another name I've been seeing is Chase Young, and then we
hmm
also have Josh Sweat
Yeah,
from the Eagles. What do you think of those 3? I like Chase Young, but what do you think?
I think man, I like Young, but a lot of people just look at him and he's young, but there's
Yeah,
something missing there in his game to me. He doesn't play at the level that I expected him to play, right? So I don't want to get somebody in here that you're going to be frustrated with. You know what I'm saying?
that's true.
Now, if you can somehow get it out of him, so be it. But I think it will be he's such a big name that when he comes over, if he doesn't play well or he gets injured, which he's injury prone right now, if something like that happens, then he becomes a situation where you're more frustrated with him. You know what I mean? Because you see the talent, and you see the big name, and this, that, and the third. So I don't know. You know what I mean? It remains to be seen. I had to
Yeah,
really take a deep dive into some of that stuff. Khalil Mack. I mean, Khalil Mack. To be honest, Khalil Mack could come over here and he could play really good, and he would play good because he'd be playing opposite somebody like Montez Sweat. Montez Sweat is very, very good. You know what I
mm,
mean? But at the
yeah,
same time, he needs somebody on the other side that is a factor. You know what I'm saying? He can't be the one man wrecking crew. You know what I mean? When Khalil
yeah,
Mack came here in 2018, that's what he was. He was the one man wrecking crew because he was at that age. He was 27,
you're right.
26 years old when he came over. And that's what it is. Now we're talking about 6, 7 years later. 7 years. He's older, but he can have a resurgence in his career. There's guys that have gone like DeMarcus Ware went to Denver and had a resurgence because he was able to play alongside Von Miller on the other side. You see what I'm saying? And then
Mhm.
Von Miller got a little bit older. He had a resurgence when he went somewhere else as well. So that's what happens in football, especially on the defensive line. These guys are still tough defensive lineman. Like Khalil Mack is still very good, but he can't be the one man wrecking crew like he was 6, 7 years ago. If
That's
he
true.
plays along with somebody, yeah, you'll see Khalil Mack popping on tape a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't double him because you're doubling the other guy, or you know what I mean? Whatever you're doing. So somebody's going to be getting through. So, something like that, it would be cool. I don't see them bringing him back, but it would be cool to do it.
Yeah,
But I don't know how long would that last. You still have to have in the draft. You have to find somebody that's gonna be the guy going forward. You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
Khalil Mack would be a band aid. He would be
Yeah,
stopgap player.
I can
You know
see
what I
that.
mean? Maybe 1, maybe 2 years, and that's pretty much it. And he's coming towards the end of his career. You know what I'm saying? So if you do that in free agency, do you end up overpaying for him? That's the other question, right? Just because we have money, we can't just spend money frivolously.
That's
You know what
true.
I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's the other question. How much is he going to demand on the open market? Is somebody else going to pay him a lot of money? Some other team might pay him more because if there's a team that's close to the Super Bowl, like a Detroit, like a like one of these teams that may lose this weekend, right? Like, what if Washington came to Khalil Mack and was like, you know what, we need an edge rusher, we need somebody, and they're willing to pay him top dollar. He's gonna go there before he comes to Chicago. Why? Because we probably don't want to give him that much money, but they would because they're right at the cusp of a Super Bowl.
Right.
So that's what people have to realize. They don't always take it as we're missing a player. They missed on this, they missed that. These guys pick and choose where they want to go. You know what I'm saying? And sure enough, we will get more guys coming to Chicago, of course, but it's not in the bag. You can't just say, well, I'll get him, I'll draft this guy, I'll draft that
Mhm.
guy. It's way more difficult than doing that.
All right. Um, we'll just have to see as far as edge rush. I mean, I don't think they need to bring him back.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I
it's
don't
his
think so either.
age. It's his age. Like we
I don't
said,
think
it's been
so either.
7 years.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, 7 years. 2018 was 7 years ago, man.
And he's what, 30 something years old now? I mean,
Yeah, I think he was maybe 30, 33, 34, somewhere around
right.
there. Yeah,
No.
something like that. I
No.
mean, they brought Robert Quinn here when he was 32. That was stupid.
Oh yeah,
That
yeah.
was a Ryan Pace move. 5 years at 32
This
year
was
old, 5 years.
trash.
That was
That was a
stupid.
bad signing.
$70 million. That was insane. But
That was a bad signing. That's why he's not
for a
here
guy
now.
that can only pass rush and he's terrible against the run. And I told people that at the beginning. And I also said that, man, I'm not going to go back into that. I'm not going to go back into
Yeah,
that.
it's over and
But
done with. That's
Khalil
it.
Mack, Robert Quinn, he played when it was time to get the money. When it was time to get the
Yeah.
money, every year that the year before he was about to hit free agency or something big was about to happen, oh, he go out there and get you 18, he get you a ton of sacks or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the next year, 2 sacks, 1 sack. And it's like, what the heck happened to this dude? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened?
He got paid. And
Yeah,
he
he got
said, F
paid. He was like,
it.
I'm chilling now.
That man got paid and said, F it, y'all got my money.
Hey, did you see that? Did you see that thing? I think he got whooped up on, didn't he?
Oh
What happened
yeah,
to him?
he went to jail recently.
Yeah, what happened? Did he get in a fight? He got in a
He got
fight,
in a
right?
car accident or something? No, no, no.
Was it a car? Oh yeah, it was a car accident.
It was a car accident, yeah.
It was a car accident after the club. Then he called the chick that he met at the club and was like, "Hey, come pick me up."
Well, I
She
didn't see that
came to the
part.
place to pick him up, and he tried to abandon the car and leave the car there and drive off with her. It's like, dude, what are you doing, man? He wrecked into like a dealership or something. It was crazy.
What?
Like he
I
was
didn't know
all
that.
scraped up. I seen his mugshot. I'm like,
I seen that.
dang, bro, like what's going on?
Come
Yeah,
on now.
yeah,
That's just insane.
tripping, tripping.
Okay, so I know you've been saying on the show it's going to take a couple of years for the Bears to be great. In my opinion, I'm going to run it back this season. I'm not going to say the Bears should be in the NFC Championship game yet, but I feel like now we got their head coach is going to bring in this really great staff,
You
coaching
way
staff.
too early for this. You know that, right?
Let me
We ain't got
let
free
me finish.
agency. We
Let me
don't know
finish.
who's leaving.
Let
Okay,
me finish.
go ahead,
Let me
go ahead.
finish. Okay, he's gonna bring in this good staff. We already got a nice roster. With that being said, I highly expect us to be in the wild card mix
Okay.
this coming season. That's reasonable. That's like winning 10 games, 11 games. Because Detroit is still going to be good, in my opinion. Green Bay, I don't know.
We'll
The
see.
Vikings,
Detroit got they losing a lot of stuff, man.
they are,
If
but
they lose, they could possibly lose. They Aaron Glenn, I think he's going to the Jets, right? So
yeah,
you're talking about your defensive coordinator, your offensive coordinator, your your offensive line coach probably leaving too, and then Aaron Glenn is probably going to take some of his guys from that
That's true.
secondary and
Okay.
linebacker. So you know what I mean. They're going to have a lot of turnover there, and we'll see how they
Dan
adjust, man.
Campbell said he prepared for this. So,
Yeah. I mean, I'm no doubt.
still
I probably think he did prepare, but it's still going to be it's not going to be easy. It's not a when you
absolutely.
have that much turnover. Like normally a team might lose one guy and one guy here, one guy there. But when you have your entire coaching staff is kind of like in flux right now, yeah,
Hmm.
you're gonna miss a lot of those guys. Some of those guys are gonna be missed in that locker room
Yeah, I
for sure.
agree. Okay. So let me rephrase that then.
No,
Well,
no, no. You good?
but I still think Detroit is still going to be good because, like,
Yeah.
I trust in Dan Campbell, even though he has a lot of questionable play calling or why would you go fourth and whatever on this, whatever. He's still a good coach. I love the gamble. I will forever,
Dan Gamble.
ever love the gamble. I promise you.
All right.
Um, Green Bay, I don't know if they're gonna be as good as they were this year. They could be. It could be hate. I don't care. And then you got the Vikings.
Yeah.
That whole meltdown in the playoffs with Sam Darnold, I feel like they can recover. But I feel like with that being said, the NFC North again is up for grabs. Um, the Bears need to figure out a way to take the North because every team right now has a flaw. Like you just said, Detroit is losing a lot. You
Yeah.
know, the
Yeah.
Vikings, Sam Darnold crumbled when it mattered the most.
He probably won't be there
41.
next year. They'll probably be JJ McCarthy next
Oh
year.
yeah, because he was hurt.
Yeah.
And then you got
But I think the Vikings, I'll think the Vikings overachieved. Like they're
they
not
really
as
did.
good as what I don't think they're as good as what their
Okay.
record said. 14-3. I don't think they're that good. I really don't. But
So they got lucky.
they rode a wave this year. They rode a wave.
You think they got lucky?
I think they were like the Bears. I think they were frauds. You remember the Bears in 2018? I'm just being honest. I believe that the Bears were frauds that year because they haven't come close to that since. They rode a wave, man. Like it happens in the
Man,
NFL. Like people get mad at me for saying that, but it happens. Trust me, it happens. Like you get on a roll and you start rolling, you start winning some games, and all of a sudden you've won more than you don't know you're bad. That's the thing, right? You don't know you
no.
suck. So you're playing a little bit better because you don't know you're. Mitch Trubisky didn't know he sucked back then, right? He didn't know. He didn't know. So, so he didn't know. And then once he figured out, oh, I suck. Then all of a sudden, he
Not the
started playing
OSN.
like he did suck.
Hold on. No.
It's the
I
truth.
might
I'm
sound
telling you.
crazy. We was good. That Cody Parkey kick sucked everything out of us.
So that
After
so
that.
that ruined the
Good.
franchise, is what you're saying.
Huh?
That ruined them going forward.
I mean,
I
it
think they
played a
were.
part.
I think
It
the
played a part.
defense was very good, but I think the offense was flawed in many ways. I think it was.
Man, I'm gonna go back and watch highlights from that
I
year.
think it was. I
And
mean,
we'll come
I
back.
could talk about this type of stuff for a minute, man.
We can come back next week and discuss because I'm trying to remember our offense. Trubisky
It
had
wasn't
his
that good.
flaws. I will say
It was
that. Like I said
it was
before,
all right. It was good.
he
Trubisky made the Pro Bowl. I know people are going to say that. Yeah, he made the Pro
he
Bowl
did.
as
He
an
did.
alternate. As an
You can't take
alternate.
that from him.
It was an alternate. He was an alternate in that Pro Bowl. He was an alternate.
I rooted for Trubisky, man. Even though he played
I
13
did
games in
too. I
college.
wanted him to do well. I did. I ain't gonna
I
lie.
didn't think the Bears should
I
have
was
traded
probably
up
one
for
of the
him.
last people to jump off the bandwagon.
Whatever, Dan. You a hater. That's just hate.
No, I'm saying I was one of the last people to. I was like fighting
Oh,
for Trubisky
okay,
for a
okay,
while.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
man. But anyways, like I was saying, um, the Bears, like I promise you, that is like, in my opinion, the bare minimum. Because even though we got a new coach, new coaching staff, we still got the same players that played with each other last year. And I'm
Yeah.
sure we're gonna have players gonna leave, get
Mhm.
traded. But majority of at least the offense, I can say, is gonna be back next year. Minus that line. So we still have a really good roster
Yeah.
with Ben Johnson, like you said, he can run. He ran the ball well in Detroit between Montgomery and Jamar Gibbs. Then passing went Amon St. Brown. Uh, we're gonna. I think we can be in the wild card easily. Easily.
Well,
10
I'm gonna save my I'm gonna save my I'm gonna save mine for a little bit into the off season. We'll talk
No,
about
I
that.
get it. I'll revisit mine, but as of right now,
As
I'm
of right now,
thinking
it's
that.
playoffs for you. Okay.
Yes, and
All
I'm
right.
gonna say the same thing come
Yeah, I mean it's
training
playoffs.
camp.
To me, it should be playoffs every year. I'm not, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
saying
knocking you for
wild
that.
card. I'm not saying first
I'm not
round
knocking you
bye.
for that.
So
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. That's
Hmm.
like the bare minimum. Wild card. Like, can we at least be in the conversation? Can we at least get the last spot? Like, come on. That's
Hmm.
all I'm asking. Can we get like 10
Gotcha.
wins? Can we at least get that?
I don't know.
Looking at
We'll
our
see.
schedule, we got the Steelers, the Commanders. I forgot who else we played. I gotta go back and look. Our schedule is not that tough. Yeah. Well, I'm
I'm
lying.
not, man. Please.
Okay, I'm too
Didn't we
early.
say that last
I'm
year?
too early.
Our
We
schedule ain't
did.
that bad.
We
It's
did.
pretty
We
easy.
did. We did. We did.
All right. Yeah.
Our first 4 games this season, we had the Panthers, the Jaguars, the Colts, Tennessee, the Houston. Who else? The Patriots. I think we lost to the Patriots at home. Um, we had a really easy schedule, but like everybody was saying, after the bye week, now we got the hardest schedule because we got the Vikings, the Lions, Green Bay, Seattle, San Francisco, who all gotten better.
Yeah.
So I get it, but as of right now, outside of Philly, I forgot who else we played. I gotta bring it up. We'll talk about it next week. But anyways, wild card. That's what I got for the Bears next season. I know I'm early, but that's it. 10 games. Period. Get it done. We got the
All
guy.
right.
Get it done. I
Get
want to
it
say
done.
this. No more excuses. Like we have
Yeah.
the coaching staff. Get Caleb right. Get get that line. Go in the trenches. Like everybody is saying, fix the trenches, please, God. There's no excuse. There's no more excuses for this team. There's none. Absolutely none. We have to
Right.
get the job done. We have to. Oh, coaching this, coaching that, or Caleb is still struggling. No, this man is on tape saying how he loves play calling.
Yeah.
The stats is there. Get it done, please. That's all. Now I want to see who you're gonna draft, who you're gonna get in free agency. Training camp. How you gonna train for training camp? What's the message? How they're gonna respond to you? In tough situations, things like that. How you're
Hmm.
gonna command the locker room? How are the players gonna respond on the field? Stuff like that is very important, and we just have to wait and see. And this is the toughest part, waiting to see, because football won't start until what training camp starts in July, and we're still in the current season, so it's
Hmm.
that time. But as of right now, it's time to get to work. So
That's it.
that's it. Any last words on the Bears before we switch gears?
No, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. I do want to touch on something really quickly with the WNBA. They have this unrivaled 3-on-3 women's basketball tournament. It happened this past weekend in Miami. And honestly, a lot of people realize how much we miss women's basketball. One, because the NBA has been trash, nothing but blowouts after blowout after blowouts, and no competitiveness. And two, women's basketball is dope. If you guys follow me online, I also cover the Phoenix Mercury, the basketball team, and it was my first year doing it, and I fell in love with the game. Like, I love it. So seeing these women, Brianna Stewart, Angel Reese, Natasha Cloud, Brittany Grinder, and etc. out here playing the game, it was exciting. And this was their first year doing this because the WNBA got this new facility in Miami. They have a 72-foot court. Um, They was doing 3 7-minute quarters. Um, it was pretty dope. Did you watch any of it?
I did not see. I did not see any of
That's okay.
it.
It was on TNT this past weekend, but
Okay. Yeah, I
it,
didn't see it. I was a little bit too focused on
the
playoff football.
yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean, I'm not knocking. I'm not knocking what they're doing. I'm glad that they're getting some exposure and things like that. I think it's cool. It's another opportunity to see some basketball and some competitive sport being played. So
yeah,
that's pretty cool. Anytime you see that, for sure.
yeah. Let me break down the games that happened. So Friday, you had the Miss playing the Lunar Owls, and the top performers on that team, of course, the Owls won 84-80. Jewel, she led the team with 34 points. Nafisa, she contributed 27 points, 11 rebounds. Then the next game after that, you had the Roses playing the Vinyl. The Roses won 79-73. Kalia Copper, who plays for the Phoenix Mercury, she had 24 points. Then on Saturday, you had the Phantom playing the Laces, and Kayla McBride, she scored 28 points. And all 5 starters on the Laces reached double figures in scoring.
Wow.
That's dope. That's dope.
All
Um,
5, you said?
5.
Thought it was 3-on-3.
All 5 players.
Okay, all 5 players. Okay,
My
I
bad.
got
On
you.
the team. Yep. Had double figure numbers. That's dope.
Okay.
I can go on and on. You guys can watch the highlights online.
Yeah, I might check them out and see what's happening.
YouTube, Twitter, it's everywhere. It's pretty dope, and the arena looks dope itself. So hopefully, it'll get more. I guess, um, they'll get
Buzz.
more eyes on it. I can't
Yeah.
think of what I'm trying to say. Sorry.
More buzz. More, yeah.
Yeah. Um, and it'll get more noticed, I guess you could say. And TNT can fully outright buy, I guess, the right to show them on TV every year when they do this, because it was pretty dope. It was pretty dope in my opinion.
Okay.
Um, and one more thing before we go, we have to touch on the inconsistent Chicago Bulls. I do want to shout out
Yeah.
Zach LaVine, because Zach LaVine, he had, I'll say, about 5 games where he had at least 30 points. One game he had 25, and y'all know I sports bet almost every day. And the game I decided to get 30 points, he got 25. And that was the game Zach LaVine was struggling, where he only got like 2 to 4 points going into the third quarter. Um, Outside of that, Zach LaVine has been doing his thing. He's scoring. He's their main scorer. He's shutting me up because I wanted him gone. I didn't feel like the Bulls should have paid him all that money a few years ago. But he's actually proven that he's still the guy between him and Vooch. Um, Vooch, he averages around 10.4 rebounds per game. Zach is averaging 23.6 points per game. And then Josh Giddey, who the Bulls acquired from OKC in the past offseason, he's getting around 7 assists per game. The Bulls is actually doing okay. I thought they'd be doing a lot worse, but they're doing okay. Free throw percentage, they're at pretty much 80%. And threes, they're 37%. They get around 30 assists per game. They get 45 rebounds per game. They're a high scoring team for sure. They
Who
get
is
around,
the Bulls?
yes.
They
They're yeah.
lose a lot too.
If
Six,
they do,
5 or 6 straight losses, and then they won yesterday. But I
yeah,
mean, it is what
but
it
they
is.
score high. They're a high scoring team because they'll get easily over like 105 points.
But that's every team in the league, though. Who ain't scoring? I mean, there's no defense in this league, man. There's none. That's why it's
Some
boring.
do.
That's why
Some
no, don't. Who plays D? Name a team that plays D.
you're right. You're right. I
There ain't
get
no
that,
defense playing this
but
league. This league is a joke,
so
man. When you
no, it
compare it
is.
to what was going on previous years, 2010s and,
Yeah,
and,
there's no.
and
Yeah, I
2000s and 90s, it's not even a comparison. And it's frustrating for me to watch this game and I know we watch it. You know what I mean. We want to see the Bulls do well, but they lost. They went on a 5 or 6 game losing streak. You know what I'm saying? And then they won yesterday. They beat the Clippers yesterday, 112-99. Zach had 35, and Zach been balling. I ain't gonna lie, Zach been balling, and I've always liked Zach's game. He's just not. People wanted him to be a. I don't know. I don't know what you wanted Zach to be. Did y'all want Zach to be Kobe, Jordan? You know what I mean? That ain't his game. That's not who he is.
Saying that,
So
but when DeMar was in Chicago and Zach was
it's
here,
always DeMar.
Never
DeMar
mind.
is old. DeMar
But
is done.
DeMar was getting he had like almost 15 games where he got over 30 points, or at least 30 points.
You isolating 15 games in 2 years. Well, no, DeMar was
No,
here 3 years, right? 3 years? Was it 3 years or 2 years? 2 years?
I think it was 2 years.
Okay. So you isolating 15 games.
Man, no, I'm not. But DeMar was still
And
the guy.
all I know is look, DeMar did his thing. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but he didn't do anything to help the Bulls win because they didn't win. They're the same team that
It's a team sport now, Dan.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is that if you're that guy and everybody's telling me DeMar is the guy, DeMar is that guy, okay, well, why are the Bulls still the same 3 straight years? Look at their record. At this point in time, it's like 18-21, 18-21, 17-22. That's what their records were the last 3 years at the same point.
That's true.
So, and that's with Lamar. I mean, that's with DeMar. That's with Zach. That's with Vooch. That's without him. To me, this team is built wrong. It's a terribly built team. You have way too many guards and small forwards. You don't have a big man, a true big man. Vooch is not a true big man. He doesn't protect the rim and that's just not his game. People get frustrated with him. That's not his game. The Bulls are playing small ball. They got Pat Williams, who they paid $90 million to. And what's he doing out there? 9 points, 3 rebounds. That's what he gives you. The other day he was a starter. He played, I don't know, 20-some minutes and got 5 points and 1 rebound as a starter.
Trash.
Your starting power forward gets you 1 freaking rebound the whole game? I'm sorry, I can't give these dudes credit for being a high-scoring team at 105. I'm just sorry. I can't do it.
No,
Can't do it.
You ain't wrong.
They almost unworthy. Well, I can't even say that because the Bears were so bad too. And we talked about them, so we got to talk about the Bulls too, right?
No, yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah. Why can't Chicago have good things? That's all I want to know.
We can't. When was the last time Chicago as a city won something? Was it the Blackhawks? No,
it was the Cubs. It was the Cubs. Well, the Sky. Yeah, Sky did.
Sky. And I'll never forgive. The Sky's social media team, management, whatever, they didn't promote the parade properly because when they won the finals, nobody came to their parade. And I remember in the car going to work, I heard about the day of. And it's like the day of, people going to work, they got things to do. We can't just stop and go to the parade. We got to plan for that. You know what I'm saying? So, but that was the last time Chicago won something. And besides them, it was the Blackhawks. And before the Blackhawks, it was the Cubs in 2016.
Yep.
And that's, you know what I'm saying? And then we had something nice with Derrick Rose, but you know how that went down.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, Justin technically was he made the Bears watchable and fun despite being ass. Let's be honest. So we can't have nice things.
No.
And how the Sky looking now,
mm-hmm.
How everybody's looking, it's just we can't. I don't know. So Ben Johnson is our next hope. Bulls.
That's our hope. We'll see how it goes.
Benny Donovan, he needs to go. His rotations will always be questionable for me.
AK got to go too. He's the one that built the team. He's the one that drafted Pat Williams. He's the one that keeps putting these guys in this. I mean, like Matas Buzelis, he should be starting by now. You know what I'm saying? He should be the starter, straight up. He's a rookie. I don't care. You're not going nowhere. You're in 10th, 11th place, or whatever you are down at the bottom of the thing. If you get into the play-in tournament, so what? Who cares? You play 2 more games. You know what I mean? And then you go home. That's it. I mean, so maybe 2 more games. You might play 1 game and go home. So I mean, at this point, I'm just disgusted with how the Bulls have handled this situation, because it's like it's literally, to me, it's almost laughable, man. The team that they put out there is almost laughable. I look at that team and it's like, dude, like, you can't think that you're gonna really do something playing, and it's just small ball, small, like they've been doing it for like 4 years now. It's like, stop, just stop. In order to play small ball, you need shooters. You ain't got
Facts.
them. You don't have them. You can't play like Golden State because you ain't got Steph Curry. You don't
That's
have Klay
everybody.
Thompson. You know what I'm saying? You don't have. Just stop, man. Stop. You got Kobe that can knock down threes, and you at a high clip or a good average. You got Zach that can knock them down, and that's pretty much it, in my opinion.
That's
The
it.
rest of them bums don't really need to be shooting that many threes. Straight up.
Defend. Defense win
Straight
games.
up. So
Get the boards. Transition over. Let's go. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
I'm gonna take a look at some Bulls games this week. I haven't even really watched
I
that
can't.
many of them because it's hard to watch, man. Like, it's a bad product out there.
I still watch
It really is.
basketball. Like I can't watch the Bulls. I haven't seen a game yet because of the whole, But
I mean, I've watched
I
a
still
couple,
watch.
but it's just a bad product, man. It's just a
I
bad
still
product.
watch basketball as a whole, and it's trash. I still, like you asked earlier, what team plays defense? I can technically say Milwaukee do because they have Giannis. Hey, you asked, they got Bobby Portis,
We got Dame. He don't play no
Brook
D.
Lopez. Dame is a shooter.
Dame don't play no D.
That's just hate. You're
It's not
hating.
hate. I'm just saying he don't play
That's
no
hate.
D. Does he play D?
He can,
He doesn't.
but he can. He don't need to. He got
He
defenders
can't.
on his team that can he just post up and shoot. That's all he got to do. Got them threes down. Get them assists. Come on now. Yeah, you can steal the ball.
Overrated.
Anyways,
Overrated. I'm gonna
Dan
go
does
to a
not
Bucks
like
game
that.
and be.
Dan
I'm
Lillard.
gonna heckle him in the crowd. Overrated.
Dan think CJ McCollum is better than Damian Lillard. In what world, sweetheart?
He is better. He is.
Anyways.
He's more valuable.
Before we go, I do want to give our picks for the NFC AFC Championship game.
All right.
This past weekend, the games was good. That Lions Commanders game did not disappoint.
No, I didn't.
So we got Philly and the Commanders, and then we got Kansas City and Buffalo.
Yeah.
I'm going for Josh Allen. I know in the playoffs, Josh Allen has beaten Kansas City, so he's taking it personal, in my opinion, and he's coming for blood. And they're the only team that beat Kansas City in this regular season. I promise y'all they can do it again. I promise y'all. And this is Josh Allen's year. If they lose this year, how does he go about next season? That's how I look at it. So he has to win, and he has to. Like, there's no other option. So I got Buffalo winning. And then for the Commanders and Philly, I like Jaden Daniels. Like, that man completely won me over against the Lions. Like, he can get it done. However, Philly is the better team. So, and they're going to be in Philadelphia. So, I'm going to go Commanders, though.
All right.
Underdogs. What about you?
I got Buffalo in the first game, or in that AFC Championship game, and the NFC I got Philadelphia.
You going for Buffalo? You're not going for Kansas City?
Nope.
What?
He said why?
Why? Because
I don't think Kansas City is gonna. I just don't think they're winning games, and they've won games, but I think I think it's about to run out. I think they're gonna run into Buffalo, and Buffalo is just gonna beat them. They're gonna beat them. I really believe that. No, hey, for what Kansas City has done, they've been awesome. They've been dope. Dynasty type stuff that they're trying to build and things like that. But they've gotten over. And last week they were gifted a game. In my opinion, they were given some calls. It's hard to beat the refs and Kansas City at the same time. So anybody that goes up against both of those squads is probably going to lose. So if the stripes come out there and the zebras, they have red and white on, like they did last week,
Yep.
then maybe Buffalo loses.
We're not going to put that in the air.
I'm just saying. It's tough when you got to play. When you got to, they were calling some stupid stuff on.
No,
You
they
know what I
were.
mean? It was bad. So hey, it is what it is. But they still had a chance to win and they lost. You know what I mean? The opposition. So it is what it is. You know?
Okay. I cannot wait to see it.
Yep.
We're going to come back next week, and I promise y'all, if Kansas City lose, it's going to be a new day in football.
It's gonna be a new day in football.
Yes, it is.
What?
Because everybody is literally praying for their downfall right now.
I mean, I don't pray. I'm not praying for their downfall. I just believe that Buffalo is a better team. I have all year. I've thought Buffalo was a better team all year.
Yeah, we'll see. But that concludes another episode of Follow on the Play. I'm your host, Christy Love. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter at I am Christy Love. You can follow me on TikTok at Christy Love Sports. Where can I follow you, Dan?
At Danikin_DG3 on TikTok and as well on X. So check us out there. We'll also be doing the Three Kings in the Midway podcast dropping pretty soon.
Okay.
And we also have spaces that I'll be starting up and kind of touching base on. And as well on Team NBS, we'll be doing another space at 11 o'clock on Thursday mornings, 11 a.m. We'll do a space for about an hour. We'll touch on 2 sports topics. We'll touch on 2 entertainment or lifestyle topics as well. And then, of course, we got so many things in the works, man. Like Team NBS, they're doing a lot of coverage for the draft, for senior day, for the combine, for all kinds of things. So just look out for everything. We also have another podcast that'll be starting myself. It'll be called Laced Up and Dripped Out. It'll be sneakers, sports, music that we'll kind of be like touching on and talking about a little bit. So we're looking forward to that as well. It's a lot of stuff in the works, man. We out here grinding, people. We out here trying to get it. So
Absolutely.
Follow us, man. Like our stuff if you can. If you
Absolutely.
don't like it, hey, comment. Let me know what you don't like about it. I don't care. It is what it is.
That's a good idea. If you don't like the show, let us know, and we'll try to work on it. We might not. But until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Y'all be easy. Take it easy. Bear down.